Deji versus Bryce Hall. Now, Deji has performed very well in recent fights. Let's start with Fuzi versus Deji. Now, Deji used his jab very well in this fight. His range was very well. His left hand was really the thing that destroyed Fuzi in this fight. Now, I don't know if Fuzi's coach told him to headbutt every single punch, but this guy had no defense, and evidently he got dropped in round 2.
He's great at running.
And got finished in round 3.
Landing in the pocket, still throwing. And they're going to throw. The towel is in. Deji's won. And there you.
Deji then fought Swarms, and I truly believe that Swarms is kind of overrated. Yeah, I think he got overrated because his physique got better, but his technique wasn't any better. Also, Deji didn't really improve much. All he really did was pick out his shots better, and his defense was better. But other than that, there was no big improvements in Deji. Now, he evidently did beat Swarms in the end by points.
And Judge Gareth Morris scored the fight 39-37 for your winner by unanimous decision, Deji!
Now, let's talk about Bryce Hall. Now, in his first boxing fight against Austin McBroom, he had no head movement, bad defense, no technique in his punches, in which evidently Austin McBroom won that fight because he landed way more. I mean, just roll the clips here.
Exact opposite.
Oh, wow! Teeing off. McBroom!
Now, obviously, this was the worst performance from Bryce Hall, but then he came back this year and fought a bare-knuckle fight against G. Perez, an actual professional pro-knuckle fighter, in which he dropped him in the first round because he got better at his technique and throwing punches. Now, his defense, we didn't really see any defense because in bare-knuckle fighting, you really don't use defense. You really use your offense. But at the end, Bryce Hall did dominate the fight, and he did land more than G. Perez, in which evidently he won the fight.
Now, who was going to win this fight? Well, if Deji wants to win this fight, he needs to remember that his cardio and his physical shape has to be there, along with him throwing a lot of quantity punches. If not, then it could be the same thing that happened in the Vinny Hacker fight. He gassed out only because he didn't focus on his physical shape, and that made him not throw as many punches. Same with the Alex Wasabi fight. He had the good physical shape, but he was missing out on the other part, and that's throwing a lot of quantity punches. So if he does work on these two things, I do believe he could beat Bryce Hall. But if one of those things are lacking, then he's most likely going to lose, regardless of how inexperienced Bryce Hall is. Now, moving on to Bryce Hall, we all know Bryce Hall's intentions when it comes to putting on boxing gloves based off these clips.
Oh! Whoa. Really? That's all you got?
Oh! Now, here's the thing. I do have to give it up to Bryce Hall, though, because in his recent sparring footages and his recent pad work, he does look a bit sharper, and it does look like he has more intention in every single one of his punches compared to his old sparring footages. Now, who do I think is going to win? Well, I like the chances of Bryce Hall winning only because he's more of a fighter. His intentions are to fight and not really box. Deji, on the other hand, we've seen in his fights, his major downfall is that when he's losing the rounds, like with Alex Wasabi, he still goes in there and wants to box, wants to look like the best boxer. Instead, he should be trying to fight. Forget the boxing, forget trying to look like the best boxer in there. You should be wanting to fight to win these other rounds. So here's the thing. If Deji's lacking cardio and Deji's lacking the quantity of punches, I do think he's going to lose. And Bryce Hall, if he's going in there for a fight, not for a boxing fight, but for an actual fight, I do believe he's going to be putting pressure on Deji, and he could beat Deji.